What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome in to CHGO Bulls Pregame. Coming to you live from our studios here in the West Loop, downtown Chicago. I'm Peck. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Peck. I'm a fair weather fan. My guys, Big Dave, Bow, BAWL Sports.
Fair weather.
Will the Go Gottlieb, Will_Gottlieb.
Casual.
Our pal and producer, Joey Spathis, on the controls. He is at Joey Spathis.
I'm none of those things.
We're CHGO_Bulls, and we have a big test on deck tonight for our beloved Bulls, facing the Cavs, who are cruising. They are, wow, they're on one. Currently second in the East. We'll talk about them tonight. Bulls 0-2 against the Cavs thus far this season, and those weren't even the real Cavs. First off, how's everybody doing? We excited for the final game before All-Star break?
Yes. Are you kidding? Well, talk to Will. You know I'm excited. You know my.
Oh, Will and I were already talking about our All-Star break plans before you got here.
Oh, okay, great.
We are both very ready.
Wonderful. Yes. I'm excited. I'm very excited to watch this game. It's a national game. Do I think they're winning? No. I'm just excited to watch a basketball game with my guys here. Yeah, I'm excited to be entertained, and then I'm more excited to have a break.
How you doing, Joe? You ready for All-Star break?
I am ready for All-Star break for sure. And that's not to say anything negative about you guys or this Bulls season, but I'm ready for All-Star break. Looking forward to it.
I love my job tremendously.
Mm-hmm. Same.
I am very ready to take a few days off.
Oh, man.
And recharge because I'm feeling a little burnt out.
Same. Shout out to our guy, Greg Braggs of CHGO Bears, who has also come on and done a wonderful job on the production side of things at CHGO. He hit me up when they got back from Vegas and was like, hey, are you guys going to Indy for All-Star Weekend? Because I guess he met somebody or met up with a friend out in Vegas talking about All-Star Weekend, and they're playing. And I was like, dude, no. Bulls have no representation at All-Star Weekend, sadly. And no, let's all take a break from this team.
Well, that's not necessarily true.
What? Why?
A tad representation?
Oh, you talking about Sanogo?
Sanogo!
Adonis Sanogo, that was announced earlier
go.
today, basically was invited to participate in the G League version of the Rising Stars game.
Let's go!
So, yeah.
Congratulations to that young man. Congratulations, dude. He is really having a really great season in the G League. He really is. He's having a great season. Very happy for him, man. Good job.
I don't know why Billy won't play him.
All right. Congratulations, Sanogo.
Shout out to Chicago Bulls all day in the comments who said, tough matchup, but we're going to get this dub in prime
Let's
time,
go,
baby.
Hey, I'm excited.
It is the front end of an ESPN doubleheader tonight.
Yes.
ESPN? No. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
They are on ESPN tonight.
Yeah.
Shout out also to Troy, Jelly, Drewish, Matty Legend hanging out in the comments, French Bulls TV. So many wonderful people. Henry saying, CHGO Bulls, good crew, guys. Greatly enjoy the content. Here's the thumb. Thank you for the thumb.
Thank you for your thumb.
Joey appreciates your thumb.
He feeds off of them.
Oh,
he doesn't feed on them. He feeds off of them.
Wait, what's the noise Joey makes? There it is.
Guys, let's talk Cavaliers.
Sure.
They are cruising in the calendar year 2024. Mm-hmm. They are 17-2 in their last 19 games, 17-3 since January 1st. But so from January 3rd to now, 17-2. They are coming off a loss in tonight's game, but it is just their second loss in nearly 20 games. In that span, let's take a look at what they are doing on both sides of the ball.
Okay.
121.4 offensive rating in that span of 19 games. Second best offensive rating in the NBA. 105.4 defensive rating. Number one defense in the NBA. Plus 16 net rating. First in the NBA. And I got to say, and not to make this about the Knicks, because Bulls fans will forever and always hate the Knicks. The Knicks, who have been on a tear of their own in this recent stretch of games, are getting so much coverage, national attention,
Tons.
people talking about the Knicks and our old friend Tom Thibodeau. In that same span of games, in that same calendar span, the Knicks are 15-6, which is no slouch record, but it's not 17-2. The Knicks have the second best net rating in the NBA behind Cleveland in that same stretch at just plus 10.6 to the Cavs plus 16. This Cavs team is cooking, Dave.
Yeah, am I right in saying the Cavs are number 2 right now?
They are second in the East.
Okay,
Game
yeah.
and a half above Milwaukee.
Right. And the Knicks are 4. Am I right about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like so that that tracks
Yeah.
basically. The Cavs have been absolutely amazing. In the 2 games we've played them, we haven't played them at full strength. We played them where they didn't have anybody really, and they still ran the Bulls off the floor in Chicago. You saw Max Strus have just a wonderful game, and then the next game you just saw Jared Allen again just dominate because he's taller and leaps higher than pretty much both the centers that we have. No, they're a matchup nightmare for the Bulls. You would think the Bulls' strength, which is the defense at the guard position, would be helpful against a guy like Donovan Mitchell, but it's not when a guy like Donovan Mitchell knows how to draw those kind of fouls and get to the foul line and get those guys in trouble. So he kind of plays off the Bulls' aggressiveness and kind of uses it against them. But She is surrounded by shooters, and he has somebody inside that can put the ball in the bucket. And they have a really good coach. And just watching the way that they play basketball, the way they move the ball, everybody touches the ball, and they are just pests on defense. That game that they lost against the Sixers, if you watch it, my God, they had a great chance to win that game. Like, they fought hard all the way until the final buzzer. They had a real shot at getting it, hitting some key buckets down the stretch. But they're a problem. They hate to lose, and you can see it. And they're taking on Donovan Mitchell's personality, because he hates to lose. He can't stand it. And, yeah, man, like the Cavs are just super duper formidable, and nobody's really discussing them.
Well, I think they also just have the ability to play multiple different styles, and that just makes teams so dangerous. When you have to constantly adjust to what they're doing well, it just puts you in a tough position. Chris Fedor of Cleveland.com just reported that the Bulls are going to be starting Drummond and Vooch together.
There you go.
So that's,
AK was just asking about it in the comments.
That's one of those things where they've got Mobley and Jared Allen out there. You have to find a way to combat that. Now you want to just go with one center and you put shooters around him with Donovan Mitchell. Now you got to find a way to combat that. Now you want to go to 2 guards and try to figure out how to cut off those penetrations when you've got Darius Garland, catching reversal passes and attacking closeouts or weak side pick and rolls. Now you got to figure out a way to deal with that. So they're just so versatile. They've got shooting, they've got floor spacing, they've got movement shooting, they've got post play, they've got pick and roll with a rim rolling threat. They're just so dangerous because they can kill you in so many different ways.
And that's the crazy thing about this stretch of wins that they're on. 17-2 is a crazy stretch. And even though, and I was listening to Hoop Collective earlier today, they were talking about these surging Cavs, and when Wendy pointed out that, they in that stretch where they're 17-2, they have multiple games against Washington, they had multiple games against San Antonio, they played Detroit, they played the Bulls. There are some not so impressive wins among them, but even still,
Bulls are competitive.
Oh, the Bulls are super competitive.
Come on.
Even still, to go 17-2 in a 19-game stretch in the NBA is something that you make note of, regardless of who the competition is. And they did most of that. The first 3 weeks of January, they were doing that without Garland and without Mobley, who were each out with their respective injuries. Now they have both of them back.
They do.
Garland was questionable tonight amongst a bevy of Cavs who are sick with something. Seems like things have been going around NBA locker rooms recently. Weren't we just talking about that on Saturday? Or whoever our opponent was had a bunch of people out sick. But so Garland's playing tonight. He got the green light. This is basically the healthiest version of the Cavs that they or their opponents have seen in a while. And they can play big, as you were just saying, Will. They can also play small. Like, they haven't even been closing with Mobley in their late fourth quarter lineups regularly because they feel like they have other options and better options depending on the matchup from night to night.
Yeah, and again, it goes back to the versatility. I think what they learned about themselves when Mobley and Garland went down is the power of just doing these spread pick and roll lineups with Donovan, with Jared Allen, and then having Strus and Sam Merrill and Dean Wade and all these guys that you can just put around them. And Dean Wade and Sam Merrill are going to be out tonight, so the Bulls kind of dodge a bullet there. Maybe that sort of movement shooting, floor spacing option isn't really available to the Cavs. But I think what they learned is when you put pressure on teams to have to get out to you coming off of pin downs on these spread pick and roll actions, it's just really tough to defend.
Yeah.
There was a play, I think it was like one of the first plays of the last game that they played together, and Jarrett Allen just kind of like caught a lob, just towered over Vooch in the middle of the floor. And it's just when you have that much space and you're pulling the defenders away, now you put Jarrett Allen in a really great position where he's a good passer so he can make plays out of the short roll, but he's also giant and can finish over the top. So obviously you've got Donovan Mitchell, who's just an A1 all-star in this league, shortlist for MVP this year, probably outside of the top 5, but narrowly. And I mean, he's playing his best ball. And so when you give him space to operate, the way he's shooting off the dribble, the way he can play make, get downhill, it's just a tough team to guard. And I think Vooch is going to be now and Drummond, if they're going to go to this 2 big lineup, are going to be in difficult positions where they really have to be out to the point of the screen, defending in that pick and roll so that they kind of cut off some of that dribble penetration into the paint, because that's really where I think the Cavs can make you pay.
And what I also like about them is when the Cavs play the Bulls, they play with a dislike of the Chicago Bulls when they play them. And the Bulls don't play with that same dislike yet against those Cavs. And it's really going to be interesting to see it tonight, because you're going to see who's ready to go on vacation and who's not in this game. So I'm very intrigued to watch that. But Bulls, that's their only thing they can really do is come out and control, how they approach the game with the toughness, with the 50-50 balls, grinding it out. That's something that they can really control. The shooting, they can't do well.
Right.
They can't match up with that team well because they have better players and more talent over there on their squad. That's the only thing they can really control on that, man. So we'll see how they come out.
Leading up to their game against Atlanta on Monday, Kobe White was asked about the huge toll of minutes that Billy has, been asking him to play all season long. And Kobe still maintained that line of, I'm not going to complain about getting a lot of minutes. I was wanting more minutes for the first 3 or 4 seasons of my career. But he said, it's important that we finish these 2 games before the All-Star break strong. Give ourselves the best chance to come out of All-Star break right in the thick of things in the Eastern Conference standings. Regardless of whether or not, I'm sure that Kobe and DeMar and everyone who's played big minutes on this team, and some of whom are playing through some injuries, Alex Caruso, he got the green light. He's been dealing with that toe. Torrey Craig got banged up again on Monday. He was listed as probable. I'm guessing he and Dalen Terry, who also was on the injury report as probable, are going to be available tonight. But this is a banged-up team that's ready for that All-Star break.
Yeah.
Get your mind right, get your body right. I'm pretty sure none of them will spend it in Cleveland, because we know that nobody goes to Cleveland on vacation.
Look at the shirt.
I mean,
Okay, can we just say,
speaking of not playing the Cavs with enough hate in your heart, miss you, Joe.
We like to throw flex around here a lot on this show, and I think for good reason. But never has there been more of a flex than Matthew Peck wearing a shirt with Matthew Peck on that shirt. That's a flex. Thank you.
Also,
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I guess the first few times I wore this shirt since I had it made, you were like, it was a home game, and
I
you
must
were
have
at
not
the
seen.
UC?
I've never seen it before. Maybe I was just oblivious. That's honestly
GOAT
likely.
has declared
but,
it a flex.
The GOAT has declared it a flex.
I mean, yeah.
He said in third person.
It is a little bit.
He did say a third person.
All right, let's take a quick break. Shout out some sponsors. We'll come back. More deets on tonight's game. We'll get starting lineups and injury updates for each team, including we did get an update on Patrick Williams from Billy Donovan when he spoke to the media in Cleveland earlier this evening. And then we'll revisit what exactly happened. Dave, you touched on it, but what exactly happened in those first 2 Bulls losses to the Cavs earlier this season. L and L. While we're doing that, you know what to do. Hit that like button. Give our guy Troll Joey some of those thumbs to put in his treasure chest. Circus Sportsbook, a wonderful friend and sponsor of CHGO Bulls pregame, always offering those tight money line splits and the low hold model. Always striving to have their starting out odds, whether they be for game spreads, player props, over-unders, starting out at -110. Unlike a lot of other sports bettors who use -115 or -120 for no gosh darn good reason at all. They also keep as little money as possible on large market bets, say NBA playoff futures. Yay. So if you're looking around and saying, hey, man, this Cavs team, they might actually have what it takes to go the distance, get to the Eastern Conference Finals tonight, maybe even upset Boston. I'm guessing you're going to get some pretty good odds on that if you want to place that bet right now while we're still several months removed from the NBA playoffs starting. The best place to do those kind of bets, where you'll find the best odds and values, is at Circa. They also have unparalleled customer service compared to the rest of the sports betting world. Real people behind the Circa Sports brand who resolve any issues that might come up in a timely fashion, unlike other sportsbooks who use the dreaded chatbots. No offense to our members of Bulls Nation who identified themselves in the comments recently as people who work in AI. We still love you.
Shout out AK.
But you're creepy. All aspects of the app at Circa are being run by the same team that run the main Circa Sportsbook at Circa Resort and Casino in Viva Las Vegas. Download that Circa Sports Illinois app at circasports.com/Illinois-app to sign up today. If you or someone you know may have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537. Text GAMB to 833-234 or visit areyourreallywinning.com.
Troll Joey.
Hey-oo.
What time is it?
Game time!
You shouldn't have to worry when you're buying
Troll Joey
tickets.
kind of sounds like Dobby the Elf.
Then same people. I'm sure they roll in the same circles.
They're related.
I'm sure they roll in the same
Related.
circles, man. Elves, trolls.
Troll,
they roll-
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they hanging
exactly.
out. They hanging out. It's all good.
Distant relatives.
Yeah. You shouldn't have to worry when you're buying tickets to your next big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all your sports, music, comedy, and theater events nearest you with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their best price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying those tickets. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event, and even after it starts, it is not the place. No, sir. It is the place to find last-minute seats, find exclusive flash deals, sponsored deals, and tickets on football, hockey, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and much, much more. And with zone deals, you pick the section. Game Time does the selecting for an average savings of, Matt Peck, drum roll, please, 18%. Woo. And Game Time guarantee means you will always, and I mean always, get the best price possible. So take the guesswork out of buying those tickets, y'all, with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CHGO. Get yourself $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code CHGO. $20 off is what you're going to get. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guarantee, because we'll go Gottlieb. What time is it?
Game time, boom.
Shout out to Anthony in the comments who said, can I get a shout out to my lovely parents visiting in Peck's favorite place, Florida, from
Shout
Chicago.
out.
Calling an upset special tonight for the Bulls. Shout out to Anthony. Shout out
on
to
with
your
it, Ant.
wonderful parents. You get home safely from that lawless swamp that they call Florida.
Not the lawless swamp.
Yeah.
The lawless swamp.
Okay. Starters tonight. You mentioned that update. Yes, it is Drummond starting in the front court with Vooch. The Twin Towers are out for the Bulls going against this big Cavs team. DeMar at the 3, Kobe and Ayo in the backcourt. So, Big Dave, weren't you just saying on a recent episode that you were missing off the bench Caruso?
Yes, I
well,
was.
you got it tonight.
Yeah.
He is available playing through that lingering painful toe, and he will be coming off the bench.
I miss you, Vince Caruso. I'm excited to see
you're
it.
about to get him back.
And I'm very
About
happy
to get him
about
back.
it. Very happy.
Cavs, meanwhile, they got Garland, Mitchell, Strus, Mobley, and Allen. That is the real Cavs starting five. So on the injury front, you already mentioned for the Cavs, Will, that they got a couple of their key role players out with this illness, Dean Wade and Sam Merrill. By the way, I just noticed today that Sam Merrill is shooting 44% from three on like over 5 attempts per game.
Whoa.
And I was like, who the hell is this guy? But former deep draft pick, played at Utah State and somehow found his way to a Cavs team that was, lacking most of their usual suspects because of various injuries, and had made a name for himself this season. So they won't be getting his services or Wade's, but Garland's in there, Mobley's in there, Mitchell's in there. These are the real Cavs. Bulls, meanwhile, Patrick Williams. We did get an update on him from Billy Donovan, so let's talk about it. They said that they would give us an update in 2 weeks, but that they were anticipating he would be out until after the All-Star break. We did get the update, and it's that basically status quo. Like, Yeah, there's no good news, but there's no bad news. Let's see how this was phrased from Casey Johnson, who tweeted this about an hour ago via Billy Donovan. Regarding Patrick Williams, Donovan said he doesn't have discomfort walking, and hope is at the tail end of All-Star break, the team can ramp him up with physical activity. There's that horrible phrase, ramp up, that gives me serious PTSD triggers. It's unlikely he'd play against Boston, their first game back from All-Star break. When he plays depends on how the ramp up goes. You had to use ramp up twice? Come on! Also, a bit more intel there on a second tweet from Casey. There hasn't been a setback. The 2-week period was to calm down the injury. All now depends on how Williams responds to, for a third time, ramp up activity.
Yeah, watching your anger happen in real time is pretty awesome. Like while you're sitting there reading that and you're just frustrated, just lets me know what you do when you're sitting in the morning drinking your third cup of coffee, going through the news, just going, come on! Yeah.
Gee, I wonder why I have a negative triggering response when I read the words ramp up when it comes to Bulls players and their injuries and trying to come back from them.
Or 4 to 6 weeks. So many triggers. So many.
I mean, 4 to 6 years.
For all that Bulls fans have been frustrated about with Patrick Williams this season, again, nothing eye-popping. Still doing the dirty work on defense a lot. Still being one of their more reliable knockdown, off-the-ball, catch-and-shoot, three-point threats. Yeah. You've noticed his absence as far as just like a big who can spread the floor and take some seriously difficult defensive assignments on a nightly basis.
And that's why when we talk about, you know, what is his rate going to be when you're going into restricted free agency next year, like it may not be the situation where you're paying him to give you 20 points a game. It's not going to be the case, but you have to pay a premium for guys that size who can do everything. And I agree. I mean, look, this team, as we talked about yesterday, needs forward depth. They need shooting. They need bigs who can play defense. That's what Patrick gives you. I think it's important to emphasize the fact that there were no setbacks, that this past 2 weeks since we got the update has just been rest. And so we'll see how he progresses when they start actually trying to get him into game shape here. Notice I did not say ramp up. But I think, it's important to clarify that because he hasn't done anything yet. Like the whole thing has been just like letting it rest.
Yeah.
Letting it rest, like what we need at All-Star break.
No, I like how you said that because a lot of people like to want sexy numbers. You know, when you think of a guy with that kind of size and playing the position he does, you want it to be sexy when you're talking about give me that money. But Will's right. Like
they don't pay players to play defense. I can't speak today.
It's all right. Well, like you said, you need your rest. You need your break. It's on the way, man. It's on the way. But yeah, like you have to go inside the numbers to watch and see what he actually does, especially on that defensive end. Those numbers are off the charts, what he does defensively. And Matt just mentioned it. Like, it's a great feeling to say, even if you seeing him struggle out there, it's a great feeling to say before a game, hey, where's the best play? Oh, you go hard, guard him. And then that's it. That's it. That's the assignment. You go guard him. We'll figure everything else out on defense, but you take that guy out. So missing him, you definitely see it. You definitely feel it because he's not there. Torrey Craig helps a little bit. Yeah. But, yeah, you miss a guy like Patrick who you can put out there for like 40-plus minutes, and he could be guarding the best 2 players on your team.
Yeah. I mean, I can't believe our friend Pete Will Supporter isn't here watching pregame, hanging out in the comments.
Oh, yeah, he's
as we're all expressing how much the Bulls miss Patrick Williams right now.
Damn casuals.
That's just me.
Just Joe in the comments saying, with Kobe and seemingly Ayo stepping up, do we need to give the Bulls player development some, and I can't believe I'm saying this, praise? Yes, I think you do.
Yeah.
We touched on that a little bit in post-game Monday night, you know, after a strong finish from Ayo in the second half of that game, and or a strong finish from Kobe and an incredible game overall from Ayo. This player development crew that the Bulls finally built themselves, Peter Patton in particular, with the shooting, you know, whatever he's been working on with them. And it seems to be working for at least a handful of these younger guys. So, yes, they deserve some credit.
And I would throw Dalen in there, too. His game has definitely gotten better, to the point where Matt is actually acknowledging him now.
Yes.
That's important.
Yes. Because his three-point shot no longer looks like a hippopotamus falling off a diving board.
Damn. When have you seen that? What life have you lived?
That was
Oddly specific.
I've seen a lot of stuff, Dave.
Oh, man.
incredible analogy right off the cuff.
Seriously. That's pretty good.
Buick falling off a cliff, whatever it is, it looks better now. Okay, let's briefly touch on the Bulls 0-2 start against the Cavs, trying to come in and get their first win against this squad tonight.
Okay.
You mentioned Strus in that first game, Dave. It's not exactly the most efficient night ever. He was their leading scorer with 26 points because, everyone was out.
Right.
Mitchell and Garland were out in that game, along with Mobley. So Strus paced the Cavs with 26 points on 5 of 17 from downtown.
Wow.
Took 17 threes. It still was better, though, overall than what the Bulls managed to do, because the Bulls as a team shot 8 of 35 from 3 in that game, just shy of 23%. They also got crushed on the boards, particularly the offensive glass. The Bulls did not corral the rebounds. Jarrett Allen had 8 of the Cavs' 15 total offensive rebounds in that one. The Bulls were missing Levine. That was during his absence back in late December. Game 2, the Bulls, for that little stretch, and this was January 15th, did have Zach back. DeMar DeRozan had 6 points on 8 shots. Remember that? That weird game where it was like, what 8 shots, DeMar? Meanwhile, they got Mitchell for that one. He paced the Cavs with 34, got to the free throw line, shot well from 3. The Cavs as a team took 57 threes.
Wow.
Drilled 20 of them for a respectable 35% on a ridiculously high volume.
Goodness.
And the Bulls improved upon their three-point shooting from their first loss to Cleveland, but not quite enough. The Bulls went 9 of 32, 28%.
Hey.
So they, lost the three-point battle by 33 points that night.
57.
Classic Bulls stuff.
57 is crazy.
They got out-rebounded in that one, just like the first one, not as bad. But again, offensive rebounds in favor of Cleveland, 13-6. Bulls also had 19 turnovers in that game. Losing the three-point battle, turnovers, and just letting the Cavs eat up on the glass. Those were the reasons the Bulls lost those first 2 games.
And what do the Bulls need to do to win? They need to do all 3 of those things. That's like how they're building their blueprint. They know they're not going to outshoot teams from 3. So what do you have to do? You have to take care of the basketball. You got to win the turnover battle and the possession battle. You have to shoot a lot more free throws than your opponent, and you have to shoot them efficiently, and you cannot give them second chance opportunities. That's a recipe. And I believe that the first game Billy really went to this Drummond Vooch lineup was against the Cavs because Jarrett Allen was just destroying them. And so they're going to go back to it again and see how that goes. But they have to find a way to neutralize that stuff without giving up the other stuff, right? You can't just put 2 bigs on the floor and try to take away the offensive rebounding, but now give up a ton of threes because you can't get out to the perimeter and defend shots. So it all comes with a trade-off.
What do you think is the more important thing for the Bulls? Is it the size or is it the defense of the guard play?
I mean, it's everything in tandem. Like, this team has said this a million times. It's not like they just throw 5 guys out there and say, each of you go try to neutralize your man. It's like, we have to defend with 5. We need to be in the gaps. We need to help. We need to be at the level. We need to get over screens. I think they have built a team that is kind of unique in the sense that they have these 3 guards, I guess really Ayo and Caruso in particular, who are really fantastic at getting over screens, blowing up pick and roll actions before they happen, and before they're able to get downhill. But that's not necessarily possible if Vooch isn't doing a great job getting up to the level and containing the ball for long enough for those guards to get back over. So it really is a full 5-man thing that they need to be on a string. They need to execute together. And so if you are in a position where now you're giving up offensive rebounds that lead to kick out threes, now it's just kind of like unraveling the whole thing. So it's like everything has to go out. And that's why I've always really credited Billy Donovan for being a good coach, because he's putting together this defense that has to execute on so many different levels. And he's gotten his team to do it year after year.
Shout out to our guy Clem in the comments who said, since it's Valentine's Day, I love you, CHGO. Drewish saying, good call. At least CHGO doesn't break my heart like the Bulls do. We love you right back. We love all y'all out there, Bulls Nation. Happy Valentine's Day. Maybe the Bulls will give us a little Valentine's Day treat.
I'd appreciate it.
Who knows? Tall
I
test.
have a Valentine's Day treat for the people.
Okay.
For the people.
And it is
it a
something
chest of
along
thumbs?
this.
You're gonna give them their thumbs
He's not
back?
giving no thumbs back.
Correct. I'm never giving those away. And you would have to come to the cave to get those anyway. So
You don't want to do that.
secret location. The gift is this. Kobe White first bucket, parlayed with Kobe White over 20.5 points, parlayed with Andre Drummond over 8.5 rebounds, alternate line. Ride that one all the way to Bank of America, Chase, whatever you do with that.
Charles Schwab, Wells
And,
Fargo.
Yeah. And if it's not Kobe scoring the first bucket,
National.
it will be DeMar. So just I'm putting that one out
So
there
you're
also.
giving people a couple of options
Yeah.
for first
Yes.
bucket.
Hedge
I
it.
love the value on both of those plays.
Okay.
Okay.
You didn't learn your lesson? You're still not rocking with Ayo despite the first bucket, work that he's been doing
I
recently?
had everything else on Ayo in the last game. Unfortunately, I had the Bulls to lose, and so it did not hit.
Yeah, see, just when you think I'm going to make some money off of the Bulls letting us down, they pull the rug out from under you.
So you
The old
need to study under
emotional
the feet
edge.
of the master
Well, I
here
mean-
in Matt Peck. He understands.
No, I mean that's like I make my money before most everyone else has given up on the Bulls, and I know they're going to let us down.
That's my point.
Right.
You know when it's
But
coming.
then when everyone starts riding that wave, that's when I back out because I'm like, oh, the Bulls are like in a position where they should win this game tonight.
This is my point. Study at the feet of the master. He understands. He gets it, man.
We are past 6:30 Central Time. That means tip-off right around the corner. Bulls, Cavs on the Mothership Network. Let's see if they can not embarrass themselves on primetime television. Either way, we'll be right back here to talk about it.
That's
CHGO
true.
Bulls postgame.
That's true.
Hit the
As long as
like
they
on your way
compete.
out if you didn't do it yet. Make sure you also subscribe to CHGO Sports YouTube channel. Climbing our way to 50K.
Woo.
Follow Will for his in-game updates. Will_Gottlieb. Big Day Bow. BAWL Sports on Bulls_Peck. Our pal and producer, Joey Spathis. He is at Joey Spathis. We are CHGO_Bulls. Just some fair weather Bulls fans.
That's it. That's all we are.
We'll talk to y'all for post game. Take it easy.
We all silly like the mayor.